other than like Panda Cam. I'd watch 8 hours of Panda Cam.
All right. Hey guys, what's up? So I've got another cosplayer interview for you today, and I'm here with the ever so lovely Mink the Satyr. Did I say that right?
Yep, you got it.
All right. How you doing?
I'm doing well.
All right. You ready?
Yes, I am super ready.
All right. So what got you into cosplay, and how long have you been doing it?
Ooh, good question. So I don't know how many years it is, so I'm gonna subtract afterwards. But I started officially cosplaying, I want to say 2013. So like, what is that? 3 years ago? Yes, because 16 minus 13, 3 years ago.
Woo! Okay.
I know math. So I started doing it literally on like the biggest whim. It was a PAX long ago that got me into it. I knew that lots of people were going to dress up for it, so I was like, oh, I will cosplay as my favorite video game character of all time, and we will see how that goes. But before that, I had been costuming for a while. It was just because I did LARP, which is live action roleplay.
Okay.
So I had been doing that since 2008. So that was what got me into costuming. But the whole idea of like dressing up as a intellectual property character was something I was, aware of, and that was a thing that I saw other people do. But outside of Halloween, I didn't really have an excuse to do it. Once I started aggressively hitting the convention circuit is when I was like, oh my god, this is so much fun. Why would I ever not cosplay to it?
Oh yeah, once you get bitten by the cosplay bug, it really doesn't stop.
It's a deep rabbit hole that you tumble down.
Yeah. Do you remember which cosplay was the first one you ever made?
Yes, because it wasn't too long ago. So the first one was Luca from Chrono Trigger.
Okay.
Because, again, favorite video game character of all time. Big fan of the Super Nerd Girls. But shortly thereafter, it was just, as soon as that one happened, I was like, well, time to plan the next thing.
Yeah.
So shortly after, I did favorite Disney character and hit Rapunzel. And it was just like, let's check off the box of favorites and go down. And I'm still playing the let's check off the box of favorites.
Oh boy, long list, huh?
It's a long list, and it gets longer because more stuff keeps happening. More like fun shows or movies or video games or some other fourth thing. Yeah. They keep distracting me from doing the stuff that's still on my list. Yeah. I'm sorry, Astrid from How to Train Your Dragon. One day.
So, the last convention you were at, did you enjoy it?
Yeah, so the last convention I was at was actually last weekend. It was a smaller gaming convention. And when I say gaming, I mean like mostly tabletop and board gaming.
Okay.
And that's TempleCon in Rhode Island. And I enjoyed that probably in greater ways than is perhaps legally allowed. I was there as a guest because I got to judge the cosplay and costume contest there. But I also got to help a friend who was doing a panel, and somehow in the 11th hour I also got to be a vendor. So I spent the majority of my time vending, and I could literally do that the entire con. You get to see everybody.
Oh yeah.
And you get to see, it's just spectacular.
Okay. Did you bring any cosplay to TempleCon?
This is where I get to say, well, technically, yes. So technically, I did bring back Luca for a limited time only because TempleCon was doing a post-apocalyptic theme. Usually they do some sort of retro-futurism thing. So this one was post-apoc. And I chose to take a creative interpretation of Chrono Trigger, which does have an apocalypse in it. So
You're right. It does.
love those, man. Um, so uh, so I brought that with me, but I also brought, since I was selling Pokemon pins, was what I was vending. I brought a bunch of Pokemon hoodies, which to me isn't really cosplay because I wear them like in the house when it's chilly, or like I'll go to the grocery store in a Pokemon hoodie. But so when people were like, "Oh my god, I love your cosplay," I'm like, "What are we talking about?"
It's just a hoodie.
Like, thanks and everything. Like, I was wearing a wig too, and like the outfit matched, and like I had like the cute shoes and stuff.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay.
you. But for me, it was like I would have worn the wig with this outfit and this hoodie, and bought like some chips at like the local Star Market. So I'm like, I don't really see this as being cosplay. It's a game I like to play, particularly when I'm in New York City on the subway. It's called Is It Fashion or Is It Cosplay? And the way it works is exactly as you would think. You look at a person and you have to decide, is it fashion or is it cosplay?
Oh god.
And good freaking luck if it's the like same weekend as a convention, say like New York Comic Con, because you will be wrong at least 50% of the time.
50% chance. Oh, it's gotta be fun.
I swear there was a girl next to me last year who was wearing Marceline the Vampire Queen from Adventure Time.
Oh,
and I was like, wow, I really like your cosplay. And I may as well have asked her if she was pregnant, because she was just like, oh. Just like, oh no, everything's fine. I'm just going to look at my phone now.
my god.
This is my like hashtag nerd problem.
Oh boy, oh boy.
It's bad.
Okay, so next question.
I'm sure you did not anticipate it was going to zag that way.
No. Mistaking a pregnant lady for Marceline. No, that's perfectly what I
She wasn't
expected.
pregnant. It was as if I had asked her.
Okay, so out of all your outfits,
I'm not making it better.
so out of all your outfits, do you have a personal favorite?
Oh shit, this is hard. Okay, favorites. I have two favorites. It's like picking my favorite child.
Okay.
Okay, I have two favorites. I have two favorite children.
That's fine.
The first one is like my baby. It is my Asami costume from Avatar: Legend of Korra.
Ooh, okay.
So I made a screen-ready version of it with like the leather motorcycle jacket and like amazing leather gauntlet glove that a friend of mine had built, and it's just so pretty. It's really warm because it's just like 90% of it is leather. Like even my shoes, there's a fantastic shoe cobbler. I'm gonna call them cobblers.
Okay.
Who made the boot to the specifications that I designed. And it's beautifully, the accessories of it are beautiful. And
Yeah.
then I have, my coat and my pants, which hopefully are also good. But it's like everything came together really nicely for it. So I really like that for its subtlety, but screen readiness. And then on the opposite direction, I did this cosplay from a 90s video game, Secret of Mana.
Okay, I've heard of it.
Okay, that's cool. That's I'm glad I've heard of it. There's a dragon that you ride on halfway through the game.
Okay.
And I cosplayed as that dragon. And
okay.
That were as long as I am tall. And that was it's not screen ready by any means. It's just like big. And I enjoy having a big costume where I have to ask somebody to hold two doors so I can get into the convention center. Else I have to like crab walk through.
Oh boy.
So those would be my two favorite costumes.
Okay. So what got you into like all of like like being a geek, like video games and watching
Ew.
anime, or like what got you?
Nerd.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's funny because I grew up in like the age where it wasn't cool to be a nerd. So right now it's super cool. All this like nerd knowledge I've weirdly retained.
Yeah.
So, wow, my comeuppance, it's here. It seemed to be a natural progression. It was something that I was always interested in as a kid. I always liked video games. I always really liked cartoon shows. And my peers totally didn't. And so that was quickly like, all right, well, if they're not going to talk to me about Dragon Ball Z, I'm just going to watch the crap out of Dragon Ball Z on my own.
Yeah.
It didn't hurt that I have a twin brother. So when I was a kid, and this is back in the time where girls had girl toys and boys had boy toys, it was a little bit easier for me to get a hold of video games because it was just a thing that my brother and I did together.
Right.
And so he could have gotten the video game for his birthday, but I could still play it because it was in the house.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I feel weird because it was like, well, back in those days, kids, girls didn't play video games.
Yeah.
But it was kind of true. Girls really didn't play it all that much, or at least like the girls that I grew up with were like, I don't want to play with this.
Yeah, I don't think I had that many friends who were into what I was into because I probably grew up around the same time as you did. So like, I remember waking up 7 o'clock in the morning. Like that's when I started being an early bird. Like I still am. Like I'll wake up at like maybe 6:30 to 7. Although I have been sleeping in a lot later.
Please tell me it was so that you could catch the WB television lineup.
No, it was because to watch Pokemon. I'd always wake up on the credits of Dragon Ball Z because Pokemon came right after it. Yep.
And then you'd watch Pokemon, and then you'd talk about it all day. And then if you were extra nerdy like I was, you would then catch the same episode that they aired that afternoon on the same channel when you got home.
I don't think I did. I don't really remember too much about my childhood. Like there are just some points that are just like you just know.
Yeah.
Like waking up to watch Pokemon after Dragon Ball Z finished. When Naruto starts getting in big.
Late for Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah.
No, it's great. I caught the same kinds of programming, so I would wake up early. I'd watch Pokemon before school.
Right.
And then during school, probably during class, much to my teacher's dismay, I would draw the Pokemon that was featured in that episode.
Oh, okay.
And then I would give it away to someone in my class, like, up for grabs, because I guess that was, like, the words you used. It's like an incant. Up for grabs. It works. Okay, someone took it.
Let me ask you, how accurate were the drawings?
It's based off of 7th grader's memory.
Okay.
From earlier that morning, a bleary-eyed 7th grader's memory. So it was probably not all that accurate. I think the first time I drew Raichu, I didn't have the little spots on his cheek.
Yeah.
And I sure as hell didn't have the little swirly ear thing. So I'd rewatch the episode later that day, and I was like, oh, I screwed up.
Yeah.
I hope they don't notice.
So I guess you pretty much answered the next one, which was, do you have any other members that are into what you're into within your family? But you said you had a twin brother, so.
Yeah, but it's funny because as into nerd culture as I am, I kind of hoped that he would match me for enthusiasm. And in many ways, he's sort of my, I'm the evil twin and he's the good twin.
Okay.
He is he is a nerd. He is a nerd, but he's also a doctor, so ain't nobody got time for nerd.
Oh, God.
I know. Life is really hard. There was a time where I had played BioShock Infinite.
Ooh.
And desperately wanted him to cosplay with me as one of the Lutece twins because reasons.
Oh, duh.
And he hadn't played it yet, right? He hadn't played it yet, or was just starting to play it. But he doesn't like putting himself out there like that. He's more of a quiet, introverted nerd.
Okay.
So he'll play video games, but he might not go to a convention. Or he'll go to a convention if everybody's doing it and somehow he managed to get a ticket, but he's not going to work for it. As opposed to me who's on the PAX site being refresh.
Refresh.
Refresh. I need those tickets.
Or
you know.
Or like with New York, how they're doing things now, and you're just like going into a panic and cold sweat.
Oh
Like,
my
come
God,
on,
fan
queue,
verification.
please. Don't get sold out. Don't get sold out.
That queue, man. But I will tell you in plain words, when I first saw the advertisement for fan verification, I was like, oh shit, is there gonna be a quiz? Am I gonna queue? And I'm a nerd.
I kind of thought that's what it was too. I'm like, what do you mean by fan verification?
Right, like, am I gonna have to tell you what my favorite doctor is? And like, if I've seen Ruby, because I haven't seen Ruby yet.
Yeah. Yeah, I pretty much lucked out because my dad, because we go to New York Comic Con, me and my dad, and my dad actually cosplayed for the first time maybe a few years ago with me.
That's incredible.
Yeah, but like he got into the queue before I did, so he managed to snag tickets. And like, okay, good, you're off the hook. Like, oh, thank God.
Yeah, so there were 4 of us who were in the queue together, like 4 of us in total. That we were like, all right, this is what we're gonna do. We're all getting in the queue at the same time, which was exactly at like whatever, I think it was like 12 o'clock.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's 12 o'clock. Like, refresh, go. And we're like, we're all in the queue. We're like Facebook messaging and everything. We're all in the queue. And we only needed one of us to do it. That was it.
Yeah.
So as soon as one was like, I'm out of the queue, I'm in line, we're like, great, we're bailing. This has been boring.
Yeah.
That was happening. The other 3 of us were trying to find the better hotel deal.
Okay.
Because once someone was in the queue, then we had to, get the hotel.
Yeah.
So we had a very productive powwow. I think that's the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
You get a small band of your buddies and like band of brothers in. Be like, we got this.
Yeah.
Leave no man left behind.
Go all like that one episode of The Big Bang Theory where they're all sitting in the apartment for San Diego Comic Con tickets.
Yes. Yes, but it's less significant than that because from what I understand, San Diego Comic Con is like impossible to get tickets for.
Oh yeah. I mean, it'd be like a dream convention half the time.
Oh, yeah.
Because like I can handle New York crowd, and even though it surpassed last year, it surpassed attendance to San Diego. I don't know if I could handle San Diego's crowd. I'm not entirely sure.
I think the most overwhelming convention I've been to was Dragon Con.
Really?
It is costume Mardi Gras.
It's just like
all the big budget people like bring their big budget productions and they have a cool parade, and it's just like the first day I was there, I was a deer in headlights because they like shut down a significant portion of downtown Atlanta for Dragon Con.
Yeah.
It is intense. I loved it. It was amazing. Intense. So then coming off of that, I went to New York Comic Con last year for the first time and was like, I got this. This is how big it is. They didn't even shut down New York. I was kind of more looked into it.
Yeah. So I took a look at like your cosplay portfolio and whatnot, and it seems like you have a very good variety of characters, like stemming from like all sorts of like media, like comic book characters, gaming, cartoon shows, and whatnot. Do you have like a personal favorite? Like it's just like easier to pull from? Like, can you find characters from video games to cosplay from much easier than like from cartoons, stuff like that?
Oh wow. I don't think I've thought about it. Because what happens is I become very impulsive about like, I think I'm going to do this today, it's silly. I know you and I were talking about earlier. We have been talking about like, I'll just procrastinate my preparations for conventions and work 2 weeks before the convention, which sadly happens an awful lot. But It does give you the flexibility to be like, I think out of nowhere, I'm going to do this costume. For no reason whatsoever.
Yeah.
So like I have in my house, like I'm looking at across the room, I have like a Cubone skull from Pokemon that I had no intention of doing a Cubone cosplay, but I started sculpting like the skull head for no real reason. I was just kind of bored and fidgeting, wanted to see if I could. And so, you know, now it's ready to get to be molded, and then I'll do a resin cast of it. I'm like, well, I guess I'm doing a Cubone cosplay now. I have no idea for when, but I guess this is my life now. Lately, I've been doing a lot of Pokemon just because it's really easy and inspiring. There's been a lot of stuff going on with Pokemon Go and Pokemon Sun and Moon, so it's been on my brain.
Yeah.
Anything that like just gets on my brain, I'll do. So if I decide I'm going to marathon the How to Train Your Dragon series, again, you know, the shows and also both movies, I'll probably be re-inspired and be like, oh, now I have to do Astrid.
Yeah.
But it's I can't really say that I stick to one particular medium. I probably do video games more than anything else because nostalgia.
Okay.
But I found out I can actually go to Anime Boston this year because it's not on a religious holiday for once.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, so now I get to like roll out anime and bring like that into the fold. And let me tell you, I'm not going to do the cool anime. I mean, I really want to do the cool anime. Monica is like the greatest show on the planet. But it's great. But I want to do like the old school 90s shit. Like, who talks about Slayers anymore? I grew up with that.
Yeah.
So like that's sort of my thing is I like to go for the nostalgia stuff because that's the stuff that I feel the most impassioned about.
Right.
So really whatever I love, I do, is the roundabout answer to your question.
Yeah, no, that just got me thinking of like, I spent one summer watching an old anime. It must have been maybe late 80s, early 90s that I've never heard of.
Oh,
but I heard of it. I heard of it through a video game that I had. It's for the Wii. It's Tatsunoko vs. Capcom.
Yeah.
I am notoriously bad at those kind of fighting games because I can't memorize combos for the life of me. But there was just something about it, like
you know the combos, and that's it. There's nowhere in between.
Yeah, but there was just like something of like the Tatsunoko lineup of characters that really like holy shit, like these guys are really cool. So then that led me to an anime called Tekkaman Blade.
Ah, yes.
Oh, you know what that is? Oh, okay.
Yes, I promise you, I was sitting here holding my breath, being like, "What's it gonna be? It could be anything."
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so
So you just marathon.
I binge watched over the like maybe a few weeks or so, just like watching every single episode. Oh my god.
No man, like I am so pumped for. I gotta throw down my Slayers cosplay. I gotta do like Magic Knight Rare, like all this girl power stuff.
Yeah.
That I should feel any bit of shame over how much I love. I don't feel ashamed. I'm really excited.
No shame.
Hashtag no shame.
So in a somewhat perfect segue from what you were talking about, my next question is about how, in perfect honesty, I found your page. I guess someone shared it where you were holding a custom Pokemon Kigurumi contest.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes, I shamefully looked at your page and like, oh crap, I want a custom Kigurumi. But then I looked at your work more, and then I eventually did your Sailor Flareon feature. And then
yes.
I looked at more of your outfits, and as you said, you do a lot of Pokemon outfits.
It's on my brain. I love it.
Yeah. So I guess the question is the franchise special to you? I mean, that's a pretty easy answer.
Yeah, I mean, I guess let's start with the easy answer. Yes. But I played it when it came out. I played Blue, and my brother played Red.
Blue for life.
I know, Blue, man. My starter was Bulbasaur. I am apparently the minority.
Yes, you are.
But I thought Bulbasaur was rad. I later learned how wrong I am. Charmander is clearly the best, but still, I mean, we were young. But I played that game in the 7th grade. It was so cool. somehow I became addicted to it. I knew all the Pokemon's names, like, in order. If you gave me a number, I could give you a name. If you gave me a name, I could give you a number. I can't do that anymore because I had to learn calculus. But it's cool because the other day, it was at TempleCon. A friend of mine was like, "What number is Eevee? Like, I wanna find Eevee in the Pokédex." On them, and I was like, "Eevee is number 133." Just like lizard brained it. So he checks. It is. And I was like, well, that's my time, guys. I am never doing better than that. that is all I got. But I really did become a formative human being with Pokemon. Like, I played through Red and Blue. I waited, like everyone else did, for Gold and Silver to come out. And like some people did, I played the shoddy, not fully translated on my computer.
Okay.
When that came out and we were waiting for the cartridge to launch in the United States.
Oof.
Which is funny because you couldn't, when you were playing, they wouldn't tell you, like, it was all Japanese characters when you were doing Pokemon breeding. So I had no idea if I was successfully breeding anything because it didn't, I couldn't read Japanese. I still can't. So I had no idea. I was like, what does it mean?
Yeah.
But it was, I played that game. I watched that show. I read the comics. I read the Nintendo Power comics that were just taking the script of the show and screen grabs.
Right.
Did
you ever go to the movies? Because I think I remember going to...
I went to Pokemon the Movie 1. I went to Pokemon the Movie 2000. And that was it.
I think I saw...
Then it stopped being cool to be out about Pokemon. So I had to go back into my Pokemon love.
Yeah, I can't remember. I think I remember going to see the third one in theaters. Because I remember they gave out special cards for it. I don't know what the card was. I think it was unknown.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah. Those movies. They were...
Does the first one still make you cry?
Yes. I have the CD featuring Vitamin C singing the Vacation song. And I'm trying really hard not to be, like, ashamed of myself. The pain is real. The struggle is real.
Yeah. Oh, God.
It's just, I know that I shouldn't be as into it because it really is just a complicated rock, paper, scissors with cute things. But
dogfighting. It's inhumane.
Yeah, dogfighting things, the weirdest stuff. But I like it. I like the formula. And I will continue to give them my money for all of my days.
Especially with, like, the stuff that I've been reading about, like, they're changing, like, up the format, like, for Sun and Moon. It's just like, whoa.
Power, Mega Evolutions, Alolas, what is this?
Oh my God.
Rock, paper, scissors, more complicated, damn it.
I'm going crazy over the Alola form. They're just like, what the
So I will go on record by saying I don't care for Alola Sandshrew. I'm sorry, Snowshrew.
I kind of do. Sandslash looks rad.
But I loved Sandshrew so much, probably from the TV show. But like that was the Pokemon that I really liked as a kid.
Yeah.
It was like Sandshrew, Raichu, Flareon. And Sandshrew, I liked so much that I trained up my Sandshrew to be level 100.
Oh yeah.
And then named it Sandslash, but did not evolve it.
Oh, okay.
I just kept it as a Sandshrew. It was dumb. It was, I don't know why I dedicated that many hours of my life to do it.
Yeah.
But it was very satisfying somehow.
Yeah, Pokemon Blue was the first one where I had a level 100. It was a Blastoise. And then my brother deleted the file.
What?
Then my younger brother deleted the file. On
accident.
No! And
yes, I too have suffered the slings and arrows of having a younger brother delete files. And if he listens to this, he'll be like, God, I said sorry. Like, I was a kid. I give him so much crap.
I didn't get to relive that until Pokemon Coliseum came out. When I picked up.
God, nostalgia.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Okay, when this is over, I'll have to tell you what happened recently because it was just like it was amazing. Oh my god! Okay, next question.
And then you'll have to comment what it was because now there are going to be viewers who are like, "But what was it?"
Oh, screw it. So we've been we've been playing. I've been playing games to try to keep my mind occupied with Pokemon Moon coming out on the 18th, and then unfortunately with Final Fantasy 15 getting the 2-month extra delay. So it's just like, oh my god, I'm like scrambling, like keep my attention, please. But my brother and his friend, they've been playing like the old Paper Mario games, but so they were in the second game, and my friend was just like, I'm bored. What other game can we play? Let's play Pokemon Coliseum. Just by playing that game with like the intro music, the intro like noises from like when Genius Sonority's logo comes up, I just feel like a wash of nostalgia. Like, oh my god! But it was this one moment where we got to the Mount Battle segment where you fought the guy who had Shadow Entei. Oh my god! We were just like, it was my brother, 2 of his friends, one of his friend's girlfriend and me, we're just sitting on the couch. It's like 11 o'clock at night. They came over from a fire, and we were just like strategizing, like which Pokemon do we bring out first? Like try to crush this guy's team. And every time we try to like throw the Pokeball to get the Entei, it would just be like every time like no wiggle automatically pops out. But then when it gets to like 3 wiggles, everyone's like, oh.
Yeah.
And it kept popping out, and everyone we were getting angry. It was just, we finally caught him.
Nothing crushes a soul more than, oh no, it broke free. You're like, damn you.
No.
How dare you?
No, when it said shoot, it was so close too. That really gets you.
Then your soul is crushed and your dreams are dead.
Like, it was that after that night when we caught him, it's just like I kind of felt like that gave me much more excitement than catching Pokemon in like the handheld version, because I guess it's just like it's 3D, you're with a bunch of other people, it was on a big TV.
Public's big.
Oh yeah.
That's why Pokemon Go is so rad. Like, because now I'll be there, I'll be like, guys, I'm gonna totally catch this Drowsy. Guys, hang on, stop moving. Trying to catch this Drowsy.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm still trying to catch Drowsies. I am lousy with Drowsy out here.
Oh, I got a ton of Drowsies.
Drowsies for days. When they open up trading, that's going to be the one that, like, nobody cares about. Like, that Pidgey, Rattata, and Weedle.
I got a butt ton of EVs in my neighborhood, in my area. Holy crap. Oh my god.
Man, life must be really hard for you.
Well, no, because I got all the evolution, but it's just like...
Drowsies are like Wayne.
Yeah. Oh, boy.
You need another Zubat, seriously.
Oh, yeah.
I'm actually just really bad at catching them.
Oh, so am I.
They're further away than you think. That's the only advice that I've used productively.
I have a hard time gauging the distance. Like, okay, how hard do I tap this thing? How hard do I flick it?
You're playing little skee ball.
Oh, yeah. So, the last question was brought up on your Pokemon Kigurumis, and I've noticed, you've shown me that you do commissions ranging from, you do Kigurumi commissions and sometimes other cute products. And do you have a favorite piece that you've made? And I know you said that you also do full-on cosplay, because you actually showed me a little sneak peek.
Which we're not allowed to talk about because technically until it's in his hands, I can't tell anybody what it is.
That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, there we go. Well, we'll post later what it was. Do I have a favorite one that I've done for someone? Yes, I do. I know, vague, right? So I a lot of times I'll do cosplay for people that are part, like they want to be part of a group with me,
Yeah.
which is the best way to do it. But for my friends who do not sew, they have to hire somebody to do the sewing for them. So in the same vein as the Legend of Korra costume I was talking about earlier, I wound up doing a Korra cosplay and a Bolin cosplay for two of my friends.
Okay.
And those were also like, pretty intensive projects. Like Bolin was wearing for Earth military Bolin, so I wound up making him like a leather jacket, like a leather military jacket with aluminum plating on his shoulders and everything. So that I felt really proud of. But for the most part, the costumes that I make for people really do range from something simple. Like I consider the Pokemon hoodies that I do really simple. Like to me, I could do that all day and feel good about myself. It's kind of like putting together my first love, which was making plushies, with my second love of making costumes. There's a Venn diagram there. But like I like doing the simple stuff. A lot of times I get commissions for LARP stuff.
Okay.
The oldie stuff like Renaissance and medieval garb are frequent flyers for costumes that I get. But then when I get commissions for cosplay, I do not like to hold back. I'm just like, all right, we're gonna make this thing and we're gonna make it flipping huge. Like we're gonna do what is your budget? Because you need to rein me in now. Because otherwise, I'm gonna go to the mat for you.
Okay.
I mean, that's how I treat any cosplay. I usually anticipate that I'm gonna spend at minimum like $500 on something, and at maximum more than $500 on something.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, I think the most I've spent on a costume was like $2,000.
God.
That's not what the costume's valued at because it doesn't factor in like my labor or time.
Labor time, yep.
It's valued at substantially more. But like the materials are really costly.
Yeah. So, judging by your previous outfits, I know I said like a lot of them were Pokemon based. If I had to pin a favorite Pokemon for you, judging by what you cosplayed as, it would have to be the Evolutions.
Do you like the Evolutions? A bunch. Flareon's my bag.
So what about them has made you create like a variety of outfits for them? Because I think you did Espeon, right?
I did Sylveon too. I mean, technically I've done them all. In the sense I've done them for other people.
Right.
So I've done them, I just haven't worn them. What it all started with was around this time last year, I had been playing the ever-loving crap out of Pokemon X and Y, which is where Sylveon debuted.
Yep.
And something about the way her like flesh ribbons, we're gonna call it, looked.
Oh, God.
I was just like, this looks like a damned Sailor Moon character. Followed by idea, what if I turned the Eevees into Sailor Scouts?
Oh, okay. So that's where it came from.
Yeah, and then I was going to Dragon Con last year, so it's like, well, I want to do Sailor Flareon really badly, but if I were to go to Dragon Con just as Sailor Flareon, I can guarantee I'm going to get, hey, we're Sailor Vaporeon and Sailor Jolteon. And
it makes
Sailor
sense to have a group, yeah.
Right, so I wanted to, so I was like, all right, well, how about I just play test it with Sylveon, who doesn't have a partner because Sylveon was released by itself. So I was like, all right, I will play test this with Sailor Sylveon and see, like, if people know what I'm doing, if it's worth pursuing, and if I can get enough of my friends, like 8 other friends, to do this with me.
Yeah.
Spoilers, I could, and it was awesome. So skip a few. I worked on basically none of it until 2 weeks before PAX East.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, no, that was an aggressive 2 weeks. that was a lot. My poor buddies know just how miserable those 2 weeks were. I'd be like, anyone want to come over and just like do grunt sewing? That'd be great. Sailor Vaporeon like kicked her butt because she wound up having to organize me since I was doing too much of like, I need to just sew. Somebody else take care of organizing what other people's jobs need to be. So she's like, I'll take care of organizing. I'll also do a lot of sewing with you. But let's take some breaths. But we were able to do that as this big group, which was amazing. We were able to get 2 of the girls' boyfriends to cosplay with us. So we had a Tuxedo Ash and a Moonlight Brock, which makes me all kinds of happy. Tuxedo Ash was like the master stroke. That was like early concept. I was like, you know, we have to have a Tuxedo Ash. We have to.
Oh, well.
And everything, like we were like, oh, how would the top hat look? It would be Ash's hat colors, but as a top hat. It just talking about it with my buddies, it was so easy. And that's when you've hit like jackpot with a cosplay concept, is when you get excited just talking about it with your buddies.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And you can't help but smile when you start doing the, well, what if it was this? Or how about we try this thing?
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's perfect.
So another cosplay that we talked about that I also loved from looking at your stuff was your Asami from Legend of Korra. I thought it was super stellar, on point. The wig was probably my favorite part of it. For you, what was it like just working on the outfit as a whole?
That was my spring break, not last spring break, but the year before. That was really fun because it was the first time that I had made a leather jacket start to finish. Like, this is real leather instead of pleather.
Yeah.
It was great. It was also the first time I had gone to my favorite leather vendor is Tandy Leather Factory, and there's a shop kind of near where I work. So I went out there, and it turns out the one that's near my job is just staffed with very interesting and cool people who are so helpful. So I walked in with like, here's my cell phone picture of Asami in her motorcycle jacket. I was like, you know, this is what I want to make. What product do you recommend for garment leather for a motorcycle jacket? And God help me, the whole store got involved. We were back and forth thing, and we were trying to figure out, because the leather that I wound up settling on was very expensive, unfortunately. Which was fine. It was fine because, as I have earlier confessed, I anticipate for any one costume, I am going to spend at least $500.
Yeah.
Followed by a grimace. So that day, we're rolling out like the rolls of leather, trying to see like, well, if they're all the same price, let's get the biggest one. It was so fun. Patterning out the jacket, making it work, trying to figure out how to make a television show's not very well thought out as far as like construction costume work for something that I could get in and out of realistically. It was a lot of just like work ahead of time of like figuring stuff out, and then once I figured out the scope and sequence of what do I do and in what order, the actual putting it together was very quick.
Oh, okay.
Surprised how easily it flowed, and then I was also surprised that my sewing machine could handle garment weight leather, and it opened the floodgates of working with leather.
Oh boy, yeah.
But it was just so fun, and doing something that was outside of my wheelhouse at the time was very uplifting, just as a crafter and as an artisan, to extend your craft to do something beyond what you've done previously. Really does feel great when you have a finished product. You're like, I did it. I have exceeded what I thought my limitations were, And now I've got to set new limitations because I got to beat those too.
Yeah. Yeah. So, what do you think about cosplay as it's now, like, it's starting to hit the mainstream with, like, here's a cosplay that was a few years ago, and then you just see it pop up everywhere. So, what do you think about that?
I can't see a reason why it wouldn't be good. That's I guess the bottom line. I'll start with like my conclusion. Because when it's mainstream, it means it's accessible, and I don't need it to be counterculture to have a good time.
Yeah.
I think it's amazing that more and more people are of the cosplay movement. I'm adoring the opportunities that schools are now giving, or like local like communities are giving to it. So there have been a couple of local libraries to me. I live in the greater Boston area, and there have been quite a number of local libraries that have hosted me and other cosplayers to come in and give talks and presentations to kids.
Oh, wow.
This is out there. I'm like, of course I'm going to do this. And I'm starting to give groundwork and feedback and information to the next generation of cosplayers. Of course I want them to play with me.
Yeah.
The more people who are doing this, the more fun it will be.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and it's great. I think a few years ago, I felt like cosplay had really started to hit the social consciousness because I had been invited to go out to PAX Prime to help promote a video game, which is very, very cool. It was Strife the game. It was a MOBA.
Okay.
Which I believe was in beta at the time, and then was went mainstream at that event. Back when they still called it PAX Prime, because I realized they now call it PAX West. Anyway, so well, yeah, right. The times they are changing. So I had to request time off from work in order to go there and travel there. And I work at an elementary school, and I think the biggest moment for me of realizing just how mainstream it became is when I shared out with the superintendent of my school, who had to give me the time off. I was like, so this is what I'm doing. Please feel free to say that you won't give me this time off. And she was like, no, this is so big and important. Like, absolutely do this thing. And
Wow.
that she was aware of it, and that she was so encouraging and welcoming of it, is really reflective of how big cosplay has become. And I can't even imagine what it's going to look like 10 years from now, even 5 years from now. I feel like 2011 cosplay was still pretty underground.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I have no idea what it's going to look like in 2021. It'll,
Nope, I got no idea either.
Implode and then be counterculture again. Like all good fads.
Yep.
But I'm into it, because then we get these awesome conventions and we get so many of them.
Oh yeah, now they're like popping up much more frequent rate. Ugh.
Yeah, and I mean that New York Comic Con exists, and that New York Comic Con is the East Coast. I mean, I'm not going to say equivalent, but it's becoming an East Coast equivalent to San Diego Comic Con.
No, I think it is.
Rad.
Because I told you like earlier, like
their numbers surpassed.
I think last year or the past 2 years, it surpassed San Diego. I'm not sure how. I think
I'm having a hard time brain around that, but
yeah, I think obvious reason is I think the Javits Center is much more bigger than what San Diego has in terms of like its location. Yeah.
I do like the Javits Center a bunch.
Oh, me too.
Look, even Boston being able to host PAX East, they have a convention center that is still pretty new. Like BCEC, the Boston Convention and Expo Center. Got it. This center exists for conventions, one of which is a video game convention.
Yeah.
Amazing. I mean, another one's like the car shows, but like you get the point. The point.
Oh yeah, exactly.
So that even like city infrastructure is supportive of cosplay, and that's cool.
Yeah, because I know the one that we have here, Rhode Island Comic Con, that grew substantially larger within the few years that it's been. I think this past year was third or fourth year, but
yeah, still pretty new, but it's got a lot of numbers.
Yeah, it branched out so much that like they had to like combine the Dunkin' Donuts Center, which is right next door to the convention center, but they're connected. But
so
like,
I drove past the convention center this past weekend. The convention is not until November. But damn it, wouldn't you know, on one of their like LED billboards, as I was driving past, there was an ad for Rhode Island Comic Con.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, it is August. It was August at the time.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
yeah, and you're already hyping this.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that is awesome. I mean, I mainly go there for just to see if any of my cosplay friends, like the cosplayers that I know, if they're gonna be there. That's like the prime reason as to why I go there now.
I have to check and see if tickets went on sale. They probably did, and I missed it.
No, I think they're still on sale.
Yes, good. So I can get some because I would like to go to Rhode Island Comic Con. I meant to go last year, but I had like real life stuff get in the way, and at the last minute I had to bail out, which sucks.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, Rhode Island Comic Con it's starting to become like a last minute decision where if I know a bunch of girls are going to be there that I'm friends with and I know that I'm like, ooh, I want to go see them.
You're like, game on.
Yeah, you don't get to see them like as often as you do because I've seen a couple at Boston Comic Con the one day I went, and then I'm going to see a bunch of them in New York, and then you, and then, yeah, who knows if I'm going to see them again.
The one disadvantage to all this mainstreaming is now it's really hard to get tickets for stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And we had talked earlier about how, like, New York Comic Con did their fan verification as a way of, like, trying to get it so that the folks who actually really want to go, but then that excludes folks who are making a last-minute decision. So no matter what, someone is going to get excluded because fire safety regulations, and these buildings are so big. So that's the one downside of mainstreaming, is that everybody wants to go and not everybody can go.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping that with more conventions, it gives more people the opportunity to pick and choose which convention are you going to prioritize. Right. And then if you convention A, you might not go to convention B that's next week because it's kind of tapped out.
Yeah, New York has become like me and my dad's thing. Like that's always the priority con for each year. And then like PAX East, it can be a maybe. We'll go for like one day. Or in the case of this year, I went 2 days with the media pass, and then Boston Comic Con was the last minute one day because I knew a bunch of girls were going to be there that I knew, like Ivy Doom Kitty, Annie Mia, all of them. And then again, like Rhode Island Comic Con, it's probably going to be a last minute decision if I decide to go.
It is pricey to do all of these conventions. That's for sure. I won't lie to you.
Oh yeah, it is pricey. Working it around it.
100% commissions to pay for my convention habit.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm like, man, I really want to go to that convention. Anyone want to buy a hoodie?
Do you have any upcoming cosplays for this year that you're able to share?
Yeah, because if I share them, then I have to do them. That's like the social contract, so that someone could call me up and be like, you said you were going to do that thing. Where is it? So one thing I've been batting around doing for like the last year was doing a My Warrior Totoro.
Oh, okay.
I'm financially invested in this because I bought an unruly amount of black pom-pom balls and googly eyes for the Sprite cake that I will be making.
Okay.
I'm not kidding. It is an unruly amount. Like, I'm going to have a party at my house where we put in a bunch of Miyazaki films. Everyone's got a hot glue gun, and we're just glue eyes on puffballs. That's just done. Okay, next. Done. Keep going. Don't stop till we have a couple thousand. Yeah, so that'll be really fun. It's just going to be very labor intensive. in keeping with the Pokemon theme, yes, eventually I'll have a Cubone for no reason whatsoever. But I do want to do Fennekin.
Okay.
Fennekin's my starter from X and Y.
All right.
So I have there's a Gajinka from some artist that if I remembered off the top of my head, I would be really cool and cite. There's this really cool Gajinka I saw like a year ago that just hit every one of my checklists for like, this is beautiful, this is beautiful, this is beautiful. And it's like intricate sewing, which is like my lifeblood.
Oh God.
Sewing, you say? So those are both costumes that I would like to have ready for New York Comic Con.
Oh wow.
If I'm cool, I would have those ready for New York Comic Con.
You're running out of time.
But you know, like I do have some other like ideas down the road of things that I want to do. I'm constantly adding to that list though, which makes it hard.
Yeah.
But you know, that's the life of someone who likes making costumes and has
Life of a cosplayer. Yep. You think you're shortening your list when in reality you're just adding to it and it never ends.
I can't watch Once Upon a Time, like the ABC drama, because if I do, I'm gonna have to make every costume I save. It's miserable because there are so many beautiful works. Like I started watching it, I was like, well, gotta turn that off immediately. Everyone's like, why? It was fun. I was like, I know. It's a great show with beautiful costumes, and therein lays the problem. Everything Regina wears. I'm like, I want that coat. I want that coat dress. I want that dress. I want that dress.
Oh boy.
I never get anything done.
No. Do you imagine cosplaying being a part of your life within the next 5 years, and do you hope to evolve your skill set?
Yeah.
With that list, it probably will be.
Right? So it's been a wild ride already. I feel like every year around the summertime, I take stock of what I've learned as a costume constructor, and you know, try to give myself the kudos to keep going and see like, what am I going to learn? And I know I've come a good long way from when I started with technique, with the way that I pattern, with the materials that I know how to use and work with learning how to do, like I learned how to resin cast because of my interest in cosplay. I got an embroidery machine and learned how to program and make patches and stuff because of my interest in cosplay. Like those sorts of things are really cool, and I'm so glad that I learned how to do those hobbies. But you know, I don't think I'm at that echelon that I want to be at yet.
Okay.
Like I have a joke that when I make a costume, I only wear it once and then it's dead to me. And then it's dead to me. I never look back. Edna Mode's my spirit animal from The Incredibles. But like,
oh God.
Yeah, right. Never look back. It only distracts from the now. I believe that's her line. But it's because I do see so many very talented people out there, and because I'm always watching to see what other folks are doing, it gives me a motivation and a drive to keep moving forward. Like sometimes I move sideways, sometimes I take a step back, but I've got my eye on the prize, and it's like I want to reach the tier that my personal heroes are on. I want to get to that point where I can look back and say like, wow, I have learned so much. But also knowing me, I think that's going to be the never-ending hallway, like in Super Mario 64.
Yep.
I don't have enough stars, man. That hallway is just going to keep going, because that's true of any craft.
Yeah.
I'm going to be continuously trying to hone my craft and to improve my skills, and I'm always going to be learning from other people. YouTube and DeviantArt and Facebook and Tumblrs and Instagrams, and insert more social media plugs here.
Yeah.
But it's been so cool. And what I've loved is that my personal heroes in both cosplay world and costume world, and ask questions like, what material is that? What did you make those wings from? Do you have tutorials online? And now most people are like, yeah. To the point where if someone asks me, what did I use? Where did I get? How did I make? I'm like, drop everything, help this individual, because I know what it's like to be on the receiving end.
Right.
So I'm like drawing up tutorials. I'm like, hey, I don't have a tutorial on it. Give me a day. I'll take 24 hours. We will get something for you, even if it's just like written instructions. Like,
Aww.
this is what I did. It's by no means necessarily the only or right way to do it, but this is what I did. These were the pratfalls that I found. So I would, do this, avoid that. But again, it's all underscoring the ultimate. I'm in it for the community craft, and that the community helps hone my craft is icing on the cake.
So, what's a day in the life of Mink the Satyr? Where did that name come from?
That name came from LARP. I have been LARPing as a satyr, spoiler alert, named Mink.
Okay.
For the last 8 years at a LARP called Tales of Valor up in Western Massachusetts, and that has been the most fun. I love that character to bits. It's gonna suck when that character dies. It's gonna be like, what do I do? A part of me is gone. So a day in the life, great question. Depends on if it's a summer life or a school year life, because I am, as I said, I am a teacher. So if it's like a school year life, a day in the life is like, go to work, come home, eat food, take nap, wake up, watch a little bit of YouTube, sew something, craft something, watch more YouTube, sleep. But like over the summer, a day in the life was easier. There were a lot more of the YouTube and sleep, interspersed with play. I've got 2 hedgehogs. They're the bee's knees. That is like, the weight of my heart is paved with hedgehogs and bread. So like my top 2 favorite things. Oh yeah. I've got 2 of them. One of them's Rosalina, and the other is Tybalt.
Oh, missed opportunity.
I know there's no Sonic. One of my students actually told me that I should have named Tybalt Sanic. And I nearly like high-fived him right there. I was like, you're right, I should have named it Sanic.
Oh my god.
This is why I love teaching, because like my kids are just as nerdy as I am.
Yeah, that's gotta be fun. That's gotta be good.
I can high-five my kids like, you're right. And then the other teachers will be like, what the hell is he talking about? Like, we had you at Sonic, but where is Sanic? Like, what is that? And I'm like, it's a meme. Read a book. Like, so it's pretty great being like me and the kid, because I'm still emotionally and functionally a child.
Any upcoming game releases that you're looking forward to?
Pokemon. I mean, I'm also looking forward to the new Zelda game, but I don't have a Wii U, so that's just going to be me, friends system.
Well, it is going to go to the next one.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I was like...
Money, I'm going to have to get... Stop it. I have Borderlands 3 when that comes out. I'm hoping we'll get more info. They released that last spring, and I lost my goddamn mind.
Borderlands?
That they were going to make another Borderlands. I was just like, we're done. That's great. I am happy.
Okay.
I really like the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say those are the big ends. I'm kind of excited for the re-release of Final Fantasy VII.
Okay.
Curious about how that digital remastering will look. And I'm really hoping that it does well, because then Square Enix will feel like they can repartner with Nintendo and do a remastering of Chrono Trigger, and then my life will be complete.
And then I'll play the game, and then I'll beat it, and then I'll kill myself.
And everything just continues sunshine. I mean, technically they did a remastering of it already when they released Chrono Cross, because they put in some animated shorts which look eerily like episodes of Dragon Ball Z, because it's Akira Toriyama.
Yep.
Any of that. But I want to see like some sweet graphics. Like I don't even need it to be turn-based combat. I don't exactly know how you would do Chrono Trigger without turn-based combat. Oh, they're gonna do the Final Fantasy VII combat, but that's why I'm curious. You know, like I just want to know what it's like. Because I mean, I already know the plot twist. Spoiler alert: Eris will still die. I know, it was really sad when that happened. I was like, I would have been more devastated if I wasn't a big Tifa/Cloud fan. That was I was like, oh great, now she's dead, so Tifa and Cloud OTP.
Yeah. No, I ship them. I ship them
hard.
Tifa was my first video game girl crush.
First video game boy crush, I wonder. Does Earthworm Jim count?
Oh my god.
That's like a terrible answer, though. It's not even hot. I just liked his charisma, and that he was just like.
I just liked his charisma.
Powerful. He wasn't powerful. He was just a really long earthworm in a power suit. It's just so cool. And the cows, man.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I'd have to think about who my first video game crush actually was. It was probably Link. Who didn't like Link?
Weirdos didn't like Link.
Yeah. Weirdos and ne'er-do-wells.
Yep. Do you have a favorite convention?
Yes, it's PAX East.
Is it?
I love the pants off that con.
Yeah, I like it too.
It's so hard to get tickets though. The folks who do it right are the enforcers. Like they've got it down, because you get a ticket, there you are. If you are an enforcer, you are at PAX. And a thing that most people who don't enforce, which is just volunteering for people who don't know, when you enforce, there is an enforcer after party the Monday after PAX, which I've only heard stories, but like if you wanted some swag, that's where you go. Like if you wanted to meet some people, like some like famous people actually stick around and hang out at the party.
Oh,
so
wow.
like you can meet cool people at this party, and it's an enforcers only party.
Ooh, okay, yeah.
Something that PAX does as a thank you to the people who have given up their time and done like 6-hour shifts each day.
Yeah.
Working for their ticket. But like the work doesn't have to be like I'm security. That's what it is for a lot of folks. Like, you know, I'm hallway security, or I'm a walking, talking map. But like some folks are flexing their muscles and putting their hobbies to the test, because you get folks who are like entertainers. Their job is to go and entertain folks waiting in line con.
Oh yeah.
Or like, which is amazing. Or like other folks, their job is to do like tech for the theaters. So if you have any background in like theater tech, it's wasted just being like, you know, the guy that stands and says, "Can I help you find something?" Because then you could be like, well, how about I do that theater tech and help run the panels, like make sure that things run smoothly. Which, secret, that means you also get to meet the people who are doing the panels.
Yeah.
When you're doing things like sound check or light check, or you're asking them what they need for their panel.
Yeah.
So that's like the hidden gem. One day I will be an enforcer, or not, because I'm having too much fun ADDing all over the line as an average convention goer.
Yeah. All right. Last question. You ready?
I'm set. You give it to me.
What Pokemon would you define as your spirit animal?
Shaman. Oh, I'm sorry. Did you want me to finish? Shaman. Shaman is my spirit animal.
Oh, okay.
I know it's not one of the original 151, but Shaman is literally a hedgehog.
That makes sense.
Literally a hedgehog, and hedgehogs are my spirit animal for realsies, like, which is why I have a bunch of them. They are sometimes grumpy, usually stupid cute. Their natural state of being is to be rolled up in a ball, like in a sleeping bag, or eating. Like, those are their natural states of affairs. And I'm like, hi, Matt, real fast. I'm probably not as grumpy as an actual hedgehog, but if the movies have taught me anything, Shaman was not grumpy. Shaman was just all cute.
Yep.
And sometimes she flew. Sometimes
Yes,
she
she
turned
could
into a
fly.
tiny little sky reindeer
Yep.
with a little red scarf, and she flew. So somehow I'm gonna make like a head in the clouds joke there, I guess, parallel. I don't know, but that would be my spirit animal Pokemon.
All right. That's pretty much all the questions that I had.
Baller.
So, thank you so much for letting me interview you. This was just amazing. Like, I'm looking at the time now, so it's going to be pretty long, and I'm excited about that.
Sorry it's been so long. I'm kind of.
No, it's fine. So,
I had fun, so I don't mind.
Oh, that's good. Oh, that makes me happy. Where can people find you?
Facebook is the best bet to find me. Facebook.com/Mink the Satyr. Satyr is spelled Satyr. Them Greeks, you know.
Yep.
But that's the best way to find me. I'm also on Instagram. Same thing. I'm on Tumblr. I'm on DeviantArt. I'm not yet on Twitter. I was told I should get on Twitter.
You should get on Twitter.
One of these days, I'm gonna get on Twitter, and it's gonna be a disaster.
Oh boy. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for watching, and again, thank you so much to Mink for just letting me interview you and allowing you to use some of your time to do this with me. I had a lot of fun.
Oh my god, that was so much fun. Anytime.
Right.
And literally
anytime. All right. I will just stick to the Lightning Palace blog for more features, showcases, other interviews, and possibly guest pieces from Mink. Possibly. I know we're going to talk about that afterwards. Yeah. All right. Later, guys.